back again. I'm going to be doing another nation overview, and this time I'm going to be looking at the nation of Late Age Tianchi. Now, this is a nation that has changed a lot over the different ages. Let's actually go take a look at the nation here. And you can see it's literally over. The empire has fallen, the barbarians have taken over, and now this is a nation with a lot of these barbarian units, and a lot of the things you might have seen in the early or middle age are totally gone now. There are a few holdovers. You have these old Giga Boomer mages who are still around, and you still have these little Master of the Way guys who haven't really changed much either. But beyond that, your lineup is quite different. You still have some of the same footmen troops. These are pretty much the exact same as what you had in previous ages. They haven't changed at all. And instead of some of the nobles or horse riders from the earlier ages, you have these barbarian horse units. The generic barbarian horseman and the heavy barbarian horseman, as well as the sacred ancestor vessel, who's very, very cool. But let's get started and talk about the nation. So this nation has, again, changed a lot. Now, I don't really know too much about middle-aged Tianchi. I haven't played it online before, but I do know from single-player games and from talking to other people, it is a very complicated nation. There's a lot of different features to it, and a lot of kind of micromanagement you have to deal with. This late-age version does away with a lot of that. You're much leaner as a nation, and I'd say much better. This is probably the strongest Tianchi incarnation, I would say. I would definitely argue that. This is probably the strongest Tianchi ever is. And this is vaguely based off of the Yuan dynasty, I would imagine, but again, the historicity of any nation in Dominions is not really that coherent. Usually, Ilwinter just has a very vague idea of some kind of history or mythology, and usually tries to stick more to the myth and the magic rather than any real history. But I mean, you can imagine this is like Mongol China, Yuan dynasty China, or maybe even earlier at the fall of the Jin dynasty when the barbarians took over the north. But again, that's really up to you, your own imagination. Again, this is a Chinese based mythology kind of nation, and they do have a lot of cool features, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let's just look at Tianchi, late age Tianchi, what they have to offer. So first of all, the units, all these footmen are the same as the earlier ages. They're all kind of bad. I mean, they're really good in the early age, but by the late age, you just haven't progressed much at all. They've not really developed anything, and I tend to not use them that much. Probably the most useful ones out of all of these, I really like the generic cheap footman, because he's very cheap, and he has a really long length 5 pike. And I'm a big fan of anything with big length. A lot of really strong, long shaft of wood is really useful in Dominions. And these guys are pretty nice to buff. They're pretty basic human troops, but they got okay morale. And they're very cheap, so you can get a bunch of these guys out and buff them up. This is a big buff nation anyways, so getting a bunch of these guys with their long, thick, girthy weapons and buffing them is definitely a useful strategy into the mid or late game. These guys are not much else to say about them. I'd probably only ever recruit the glaive holding guys of these higher level units. Maybe these guys with the glaive, because they hit pretty hard. 22 damage with these glaives. But again, these guys are quite expensive. 20 resources for this. So it gets a little bit pricey, especially when your horsemen, your heavy horsemen, who are the kind of star of your nation, are only a little bit more expensive. So I don't know. Maybe you can get some of these guys for whatever reason, but I tend not to use them. These guys with the shields, for example, the very basic footman with a shield and a spear is okay too. Probably about equivalent of the spear and shield Roman troops. So if you want a bunch of these guys to hold a line, I guess that could be fine. Maybe the medium footman might be a little bit better because he's got a bit better armor. So if you want a bunch of these guys to hold some line in front of your mages, that's okay too. But I think there's better strategies to protect your mages than using these guys. I tend to really only use these cheapo footmen and sometimes these glaive guys, the heavy glaive guys or the medium glaive guys. But again, not too much. The real cream of this nation are the horsemen, and definitely you can use these guys to help defend your mages much more effectively than any of these little troops. Now, all of these horsemen are both archers and cavalry. Your basic horseman is just kind of like a light cavalry with a lance and a bow, And these guys are pretty good as well. They all have this pillager, but I tend not to use pillaging that much in Dominions. I guess you could. This heavy horseman is really like the backbone of your nation. You want to be making a lot of these guys. When I play iench'i, I really like to maximize these guys most of all. Make tons and tons of them, and just overrun everyone with your strong horde of horsemen. And these guys have several attacks: 1, 2, 3 melee attacks, as well as the lance charge, and then also a bow as well. So these guys can do a nice heavy lance charge into the enemy lines and really mess them up. These guys are quite cheap as well for heavy cavalry. These guys are heavy cavalry, but they're really cheap. And more than that, you can recruit them in every single province. So you can have tons and tons of these guys. And it also means you don't need to worry as much about maximizing your scales. Definitely scales are great for late age iench'i, just so you can get a bunch of these guys. But because you can recruit them everywhere, you can kind of like reinforce your armies as they're marching somewhere. So that really gives you a nice advantage, especially after you have a big battle and you want to march to some other area on the map. You can kind of reinforce yourself on the way there. So that's quite nice. The last one is your sacred. Now this is a really excellent sacred. I really love this. And definitely when you're thinking of a god or a bless, you have to think, do I want to focus on my ancestor vessels for a bless, or do I want to focus on my mages, or maybe go for something a little bit different like I did? I'm trying to go for more of a light thug bless. But these guys have all the same attacks as the regular heavy horsemen, but they also have this howling bow, which is a magic bow weapon, and it has a special effect which causes fear on hit. So this is quite nice as well. They do really good damage. They're excellent cavalry. They are a bit expensive, but they can be useful in a lot of different ways. 1, as a heavy cavalry. 2, as a sacred archer, which is very rare in Dominions. So if you want to do some funny kind of archer blesses, these guys can hold those quite well. And also these guys are really great for defending your mages. You can keep a couple of these guys on guard commander to defend your mages while they're doing whatever they're doing, or even keep these guys in the back with fire rear or hold and fire. So they'll just sit there firing their howling bows at the enemy until they run out of ammo, and then they will charge in, which gives you lots of time to either defend your mages while they're buffing themselves or casting whatever spells, or even for these guys to take a lot of buffs as well. So they can sit in the back while they get buffed by the mages, and then when they're finally really beefed out, they can rush in and cause a ton of damage, especially because in Dominions, units don't lose fatigue when they use a bow. So these guys can fire their bow, do some nice damage for a while, and then when they're finally all buffed and ready, they can rush in totally fresh and really demolish these weak and fatigued enemy units. So these can do a lot of funny things. These are pretty great. And I generally really like to use these as well. However, in the game I'm going to show, the kind of test game, I didn't really use these that much. I tend to focus more on the barbarian horsemen, the heavy horsemen, and didn't really make much use of these, but still they're a very good unit. Let's take a look at the commander. So you have a basic kind of mounted scout. It's quite good, mead mounted, gives you a bit of mobility. You have your 2 generic commanders, the general and then the Khan. The Khan is a little bit unique because you can also recruit him in every province. So if you want to quickly make an army, you can recruit a Khan in some random province and just have him march around picking up barbarian horsemen as he goes. You can have a whole region producing a couple horsemen each, and then he can just march from province to province picking them up, and then suddenly you have a big army basically out of nowhere. Beyond that, you have your basic priest. Not really much to say about him. He's just a level 1 priest from earlier ages. You have this guy, the Master of the Way. He's a 2-path mage. He has 1 water guaranteed, and then 25% chance of one of these 4 magic paths. I don't recruit these guys too much. Definitely if I need money or whatever, I just want a cheap mage, I'll get some of these. I try to get all my fortune producing mages at every single turn, and this guy's not too expensive, so whenever you're a little bit strapped for cash, you can go for him. As well, since he's water 1, he's a very nice little Frozen Heart caster. So once you get to the research level when you can cast Frozen Heart, a few of these guys in the back spamming it can be quite nice. Next you have your 3 ancestor mages. Now these are the real powerhouse of your nation, and you should be getting these guys all the time, every single turn. Ancestor Smith is arguably the best, in my opinion at least, And he's the one that can also act as a little bit of a cheapo thug. Now, even though he's an old dude, he has really great stats. 10 strength, 13 attack skill, good defense skill, good morale, decent hit points as well for a human. But this old age does give him a little bit of penalty. However, you can kind of get around this a little bit to give him really, really nice stats for just a human guy. His magic paths are quite good for thugging as well. He has 2 earth, means he can cast earth power out of the box. He has 1 death, so he can do some death spells as well. He also has a random chance for these paths. So getting air, nature, or nature could be really nice for thugging. Getting death as well can let you cast some better death spells and things like that. So this guy is a really great out-of-the-box light thug, and in my games I try to use him as that. He also has this forging bonus, so if you make a ton of these guys and have them forge gear, they will get a little bit of a bonus. And definitely Iench'i is a nation that is really gem dependent, which does hurt them a little bit in the late age where gems are not that easy to get. So one thing you should be doing in this game is really getting your gem production up quickly as possible, using any kind of site searching spells or having several mages going out to look for gems, gem sites. Even if it costs you a bit of research, those gems will make up for it in the late game once you're needing to produce a lot of gear and cast some ritual spells. Most of your generic units are not very good besides the horsemen, so you really want to complement your heavy horseman armies with a lot of summoned units. And Iench'i does have access to a lot of summons as well, so that's really what you want to be going for into the mid and late game. After this guy, I should mention that he has a special weapon, the Ancestor Sword, which also causes a fear effect, and it is a magic weapon, so that's quite nice as well. He doesn't really need too much gear to make him a nice little thug. Basically just a helmet, and he's kind of good to go. Next you have the Spirit Master. This is your Nature 2 starting mage, and not much else to say about him. He's also quite old, and he has the same kind of paths as the other mage. All of these have the same paths. They can never ever get more than 2 in any path, but still, you know, they just have a little bit different combination of each. This guy is more your nature caster. I get these guys sometimes if I need Nature 2 for whatever reason, but I don't know. It is nice to have a dedicated nature mage if I want some swarm casters or something like that. And basically it just gives you more variety. But between this guy and the Ancestor Smith, I usually try to get lots of Ancestor Smiths. And then mostly either him or the Ancestor Guides. Now the last of the 3 Ancestor Mages is the Ancestor Guide. This is your dedicated Death Mage. And he also starts with Air 1. He's the same kind of path spread as the others, but he does have the chance for Air 2. And then Death 2, so this with a little bit of boosting can make him a Wailing Winds caster. So this guy being guaranteed Death 2, and this guy being guaranteed Earth 2. These 2 I think are the most useful, but definitely it's worth to recruit the Spirit Master sometimes as well, just depending what you want to be doing. The last mage is your big mage. Now he's not as big as in earlier ages. He's really fallen from grace a little bit. In early age he had, I think, 7 paths, or maybe even more. And then he can also fly, and he was really great. But here he's really fallen on hard times. He's got 1 air, 2 water, 1 astral, and then a chance for some of these paths again. So he still can't get above 2 in anything. Maybe he can get 3 water if you're super lucky, but really uncommon for this guy. So he's pretty flimsy, and compared to most nations where you really want to be recruiting your cap-only mages a lot, I tend to not really recruit this guy that much. Maybe a couple of them just for summoning ritual purposes, but I'd rather just be recruiting my Ancestor Mages basically every single turn from every single province, including my capital. So even though this guy's cap only, I would kind of recommend not getting too many of these guys. I would not be too worried if you don't have that many. Basically, they're only really great for site searching, in my opinion. If you want to break into water, I guess these guys are quite good. And for casting some of your national spells, these guys are useful. But beyond that, the Ancestor Mages are just way better. Okay, so that's a good overview of the nation. Let's take a look at some features of the nation beyond just that. So let's look at their unique spells. So there's a few unique spells. Most of them are conjuration spells, and these are all summonables. First, you have the Celestial Servant. This guy is definitely not that useful. I probably would not get him, he does have these negative supply bonus. So he kind of consumes supplies in the province he's in. So you can't really keep a bunch of these guys with an army. They'll all end up running out of supplies. This guy's kind of useless, besides the fact that you can cast him pretty easily with your Earth and Astral guys. I would probably never get this guy. The first kind of useful unit you can summon, unique unit I should say, is the Celestial Hounds. Now these guys are pretty flimsy. They don't have too much protection, and they do have 2 attacks, but not much else than that. The main thing is that they're sacred summonables, and any kind of summonable sacred is really nice. With some blesses, you can make these pretty useful, and in Middle Age Iench'i, these guys are really nice with a quickness bless. I like to go with these and the Red Guard Horsemen. Just quickness only, they can really tear up anything they fight. So these guys are kind of nice too, mainly as like guards for the mages. I would kind of use them, get a couple of these guys with my kind of mage thug just to accompany them around. They can bless the small group and then run in. So these are something to consider. They're pretty flimsy, but like I said, any kind of summonable sacred is nice to have. The next is Celestial Soldiers. Now these guys are quite good. They're very big and they hit hard, so you're not going to get a lot of attack density, but just because their attack is so strong, they have this big glaive and they do a lot of damage, plus they're sacred as well, so they'll benefit from your bless. These guys are quite good, and in the late game they should really be a big part of your armies if you can afford them. So I would be trying to get quite a few of these guys by the mid to late game, and these are also a reason why you want to get your Celestial Masters. They're the only ones who can really cast these spells because they're the only ones with guaranteed air and astral. None of your ancestor mages can get this exact combination, so you do want some Celestial Masters to be able to use these spells. But once you can pump out enough of these guys, these are a great complement to your Barbarian Horseman troops. Next are the Call Ancestor spells. Now these are kind of funny. These are a Sacred Ghost, and this is combat only summon. The first level, the simple one, this is something you get with Conjuration 1, so you should have this almost from the start of the game. Just summons 1 ghost, and these guys are quite nice as a distraction basically, because they do paralyze on attack, and you can do some really funny things with these guys. For example, take a weapons bless like thunder weapons or the explosion bless, so when they get killed they blow up in front of the enemy. So these can do some really funny things as well, but the main thing to consider is that it's a little bit difficult to bless these guys, especially when you're summoning single ghosts and then trying to bless them. It's not that easy, so you have to kind of consider that when you're thinking of a bless if you really want to take advantage of these guys. One option, at least in the game I'm playing, I took a larger bless, and since larger is active all the time, it doesn't need anything specifically. You do get that kind of bonus from getting these guys a bit bigger. It gives them some little boosts, but then again, their stats are so low, it doesn't really make a difference anyways. Next is Wrath of the Ancestors. This just summons a big swarm of these ancestor spirits. So once you get to Conjuration 7, this could be kind of a nice option as well. This is when some really meme tier blessings, like, again, a weapons bless like Thunder Weapons, or the explosion on Death Explosion bless, or something really crazy like that, even like Blood Vengeance or something like that, could be really funny with these kind of guys. I imagine something like the Blood Bond plus Death Explosion would be really, really funny with these. It'd be basically just like a huge suicide swarm of ghosts. So you can do some funny things with these, but again, you still need to find a way to bless them. And you don't have easy access to Holy Threes as this nation, but you can find your way around it, and these guys can definitely be useful somehow. Next, you have a few other spells. You don't have as many of the kind of non-conjuration spells that you have in earlier ages. For example, here you have Internal Alchemy. This is a way to lower your age, so age minus 15 years. This is okay for your old mages, but it does have a risk of making them insane. So you do have to think about that. Still, this is a way if you really want to deal with the old age of some of your units. You can kind of bring their age back down a little bit. There is a spell in Middle Age that's a little bit better because it doesn't have the Madness debuff. I think it's something about like Imperial Ginseng or something like that. Next one is Celestial Chastisement. This is something more for your cap-only Celestial Master Mage. This is basically control a cast control on an enemy magical being and does some damage to them as well. So this is quite nice. It's Evocation 5 and it's kind of a unique spell. Quite easy to cast anyways with many of your Celestial Masters, so this could be something to consider. And the last one, Herd of Buffaloes, nothing much to say about it. I would probably not use this that much unless I really need, I don't know, a bunch of buffaloes for some reason. I guess they're like tramplers, but still I wouldn't really use it too much. Just if you need a bunch of like cheap units to fill in your army. So that's all the unique spells. Let's take a look at some god ideas. So iench'i, you don't have too much in the way of god selection. You have some of the Japanese gods and a few of the Chinese gods and Indian gods as well. You have some of the generic monsters and some small generic human kind of guys. So I don't know what I consider. You can go with something pretty simple. If I was going to pick something very generic and boring, I'd probably go with just an imprisoned stats focused bless. Something like this maybe could be good. Just go for all resists. Shock resist, fire resist, cold resist, and then maybe like strength for the archers, and also for my mages as well. Maybe get something like arcane finesse for the mages as well. Go with withering weapons for my sacreds. This is quite nice with archer units because you can shoot the decay bolts into the back line and cause some decay effects, which is nice. And last one, maybe major poison resistance, and then actually maybe unaging rather than poison resistance, and then just take maybe poison resistance. Yeah, okay, so something like this would be okay. This is a very safe kind of build. Imprisoned, obviously. You can take really nice scales with this. Maybe you'd have to dump these a little bit. Just rebalance these a little bit. I think something like this could be okay. So something like this. This is pretty safe and pretty generic. You could probably do a little bit better with the scales. Maybe I could go a little bit lower in the luck and then boost some of these up a little bit just to get really good scales. Maybe I could even go misfortune, to be honest. I do like luck as iench'i because you have a lot of really cool hero commanders. I believe all of your hero commanders are immortals, so that's definitely something to consider when you're playing iench'i to get into the immortal game. Not only can you work to summon some immortals later in the game with your death mages, like liches and other things like that, you also have your national immortals who are all quite good mages, so that's something to consider. But if you really want to focus on scale, something like this could be okay. Like this is a really good, very, very safe god. But to be honest, this is a little bit boring. I hate imprisoned Dominion 1 little humans. So I would probably not go with this unless I was being really try hard and want to actually win a game. This would probably help you a lot in the game. You'd probably do quite well, but I want to go something more fun. So let's take a look at some Dominion 3 gods. So I'm going to ignore the other ones, even though there's probably some other optimal things. I really want a Titan, to be honest. And there were three or four Titans I was looking at. One was this guy, the kind of fat Buddha. Second was the Kami of Storms. Third was the Underworld God. And then fourth was the Kami of the Sun. Now, these four I was looking at. This one, because he has the Bringer of Fortune. He also has the Astral Earth, which is a great cross path. I would give him also Nature Magic. The other option was Kami of the Storms. So he has air and water. I would probably give him a Swiftness and Defense Bless. But then, I don't know, I'm kind of doubtful about this. I would try to use him as a bit of a thug, but I think he's not that great as a thug. He has good stats, but his protection is so bad, and he doesn't really have any inbuilt protection as well, just like Storm Immunity, Chaos Power, things like that. Definitely Kami the Sun might be a better option for some sort of god, super combatant as a god. So I don't really know what I would do with her. Fire and Astral are kind of weak in terms of protecting yourself, in terms of thugging. Maybe something like this could work. And I would like to get some Earth on her as well. Maybe Earth to protect her a little bit. Maybe something like Unbreakable could be okay. I don't know. I would have to take her maybe Dormant at least and try to rebalance these a bit. So I probably have to go down there a bit. Maybe have to rebalance some of these a bit more. If I'm going Turmoil, I'll definitely have to go at least Positive Fortune, because that's going to be really miserable. Maybe I might have to really sacrifice some of my scales to go for something like this. Maybe something like this could work. She would wake up after about 12 turns or so, and she could be a fairly decent super combatant. She has built-in Awe and Flying and Sight Vengeance, which means anyone who attacks her risks going blind, which makes her quite good. Just with a little bit of armor, I think she could be quite a decent super combatant. And Heat Aura, Twist Fate will give her a little bit more staying power as well. Unbreakable, just so they don't get battle afflictions, but you can easily go with something else. Maybe Fire and Shock Resistance. Just a little bit more investment. I do have to sacrifice a little bit more. Ooh, that's very tight. So maybe have to twist this around a little bit more. Maybe instead of Twist Fate, I would go with something a bit different. Maybe Magic Resist or Arcane Finesse. Maybe that could be good. This might be okay. Maybe okay. It's very hard to say though. But this could be an option if you want to try for a super combatant as iench'i. And this could also be nice for your thugs as well. Heat Aura and Fire Shock Resistance will give your thugs a little bit more staying power. But again, probably this is not the best option. And one thing I would really like is take some nature magic to offset the old age of some of my units. So another option, you can go with this guy, do something a little bit similar, go with Death. Maybe take something like Stygian Flesh to give them a little bit more, invulnerability for some of your mages, if you want to be thugging, and then something like that could be okay. Again, both these are incarnate only. You could take them awake though with this kind of stats, and you even have a little bit to get better scales as well. So maybe this could be okay. Another option could be with the Withering Weapons, and then even go up to something like Awe. Ooh, this is barely affordable. I might still have to cut this down. What can I sacrifice? Maybe have to go like that. Ooh, that's very tight, but something like this could be nice as well. The Awe will help your mages, if you want to be thugging, it'll help them give a little bit more staying power. Withering Weapons is good for your Sacred, so it'll allow them to fire in the back row and cause a lot of decay, but with these scales, you're not going to be able to get that many of them, and I really hate having shitty scales like this as iench'i. What I actually went with in the game I'm playing is something like this. I took this guy because I went Misfortune. I think I went Misfortune too, and he has the Bringer of Fortune, so this doesn't get rid of misfortune, but it causes more fortunate events to happen. So that's something to consider. I also took 6 nature. I went with Unaging, and I also went with Larger. So both these are innate blesses, means you don't have to bless the units to benefit from these. I think the last one I went with was Arcane Finesse, I believe. So this is just an all-around mage bless. The Larger just gives some bonuses to all my sacred units, better strength, better 1+1 size, a little bit higher HP. So this gives them a little bit more, makes them a little bit more powerful as units and as thugs. And Unaging will actually make some of my old units not old. So some of the mages who do have the old tag will not have old with Unaging. They might be only a couple years off, but that's enough to make them quite useful as thugs and kind of offset the downsides of being super old. So I actually went with something like this. I took a little bit better scales. I took them Dormant. Something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it's very similar to what I have right here. I think I went a little bit higher with the Dominion, and one of these was a bit higher as well, but something very similar to this I went with. Now, I don't know if that's the optimal one, but let's actually go back to the game. Take a look here. So there's been a few battles here. This is just against some province defense. This was a battle against just some small army. Let's take a look at it anyways. I do have quite a lot of these little Ancestor Smith thugs around. So you can see this guy, I just gave him a helmet, and that's really all he needs. This guy, I think I gave him a little bit more. He has a helmet and a Doom Glaive. Now this is pretty cool because a lot of your mages can make this weapon, and this causes Area of Effect Decay, as well as Area of Effect Curse. And it's quite a long glaive weapon, which is very strong and does a lot of damage. So this is a really cool weapon. I like to make this as iench'i because it's really easy for a lot of your national mages to make this. And he also has the horn helmet just for the extra kind of head attack. Though I don't think he actually manages to make it in the back. And one thing you'll notice is this guy is not old. He's 51, but his max age is 75. So he's not old. He has great stats. Look at him here. 16 hit points, size 3, good protection, great morale, great attack skill, defense skill, precision. Everything is great about him. So he's a really nice little budget thug. This guy too, is he old? No, he's not old. He's not old either. This guy's quite a high max age as well. He is nature too, so having nature as a path raises their max age. But even some other mages who are not nature, they tend to not be old as well. So a good number of your mages will just happen to not be old, depending on what age they roll. If they're under 50, they might end up being not old. And I think the max age for most of these mages is 50. So if they're like 48, 49, they'll spawn as not old. So let's take a look at the battle here. Not much else to say. Basically, these horsemen just rush and kill everybody. So not much else to do. I did have these guys scripted to thug a little bit, but basically they're just too slow. The horsemen are too good. And what about this battle here? This was another little battle against some people who were sieging my fort. This looks like just... oh, what happened here? This looks like just a mercenary group. Let's see if these guys go in. I believe these guys will clean it up pretty quickly. I don't even know if my mages will be able to see combat. Oh, what happened here? Summon something. Oh, that's a swarm casting. Yeah, so basically these guys never made it into combat. One of them is casting Swarm, which is nice as well. Then just a few other events. I had a battle here against some random indie units that appeared. Okay, so we can see the map here. I've had a decent expansion. I did have a little bit of problem at the beginning of the game. Your starting army kind of sucks as iench'i, but it gets, once you can start producing quite a few of the barbarian horsemen, it does get a bit better. Now you can see my production's not that great. My scales are kind of weak. You can see these are my scales up here. I just have 1 order, 1 productivity. Definitely if I want to focus on huge numbers, I can boost these up a little bit. And here's my god, Lucky Buddha. He has 6 nature, 4 astral, and 4 earth. 4 astral is a little bit flimsy because he could be vulnerable to any anti-astral spells, but I kind of took the risk here. I'm having these guys forge stuff. They're going to make a little gang of thugs. I'm going to have 3 of these astral earth death guys go out and just thug on their own. I have another group here. There's 2 of these guys that I've shown before. This guy is also going to go on his own with a small group of crossbows. And you can see he has a little setup here. And beyond that as well, he also has this kind of setup. Because he's air, he's casting Mirror Image as well as Mist Form and Iron Skin. This will make him a little bit more useful. I don't know what happened to his sword. Did he give up his sword? Why would he drop his sword? Jeez. Okay, that's kind of weird. I don't know why he does that. So for some reason, when I give him a shield, he actually drops his sword for the shield. So I would like him to keep his sword and just hold the shield, but apparently he doesn't do it. So that's kind of annoying. I'm going to take the shield off then. So at least he gets 2 magic attacks, but that's a little bit unfortunate. Either way, let's see how it goes. So he's going to attack there. This group is going to attack here. So this is just a few mages with some horsemen, and they're hopefully going to be able to do something. Let's give this guy a few more gems. Alright, so let's see how these guys go. Let's give this guy a few more gems as well. Alright, so not too much going on. Are there any other armies around here? I gotta get some armies going out. I'm not being too efficient in this game. Probably could be a little bit more efficient, but it's okay, it doesn't matter too much. Let's get this guy, and once these guys are done researching, once these guys are done crafting, we're going to send 3 of these guys out, all casting the same kind of spell set. What I will have them cast is, I think, Summon Earth Power, then Body Ethereal. Though I hope they can cast Ethereal on themselves. Well, I'll do Personal Luck first, then Body Ethereal. And then, maybe what else can I do? Oh, here it is, Temper Flesh. So this should be enough to make them pretty beefy little thugs. And then attack rear. So these guys will go together. Let's script all of them. Script the other guy. Where is he? So these three will work together. These will be like a little thug gang. These guys. Okay, so three of those guys will be going together just with helmets and a long weapon. And I think that's all they really need, to be honest, to be able to mess things up. So we'll send those guys north to fight one of Pythium's armies. But let's end the turn and see how it goes. I believe, who am I attacking here? I'm having these guys attack just a random province. Maybe I should attack the Pythium capital, though I don't know if this group will actually be able to take their capital. So I maybe could try. I kind of want to fight this army here, but maybe I will just try to attack their capital and see how it goes. So let's try that. Why not? If it fails, maybe I can summon some mercenaries first. Can I get some mercenaries here? Yeah, maybe I'll try that. I'm going to get mercenaries first, and then I'll attack their capital next turn. So hopefully that'll be enough to take their cap. Alright, let's end the turn here, see how it goes. Oh, shit, I should research something. What do I want to research? One thing I should say for research, I think the best things you should research are alteration, conjuration, and construction. Let me actually get my construction up a little bit higher. These three are really useful. You have access to a lot of great buffs. Getting up to alteration 4 and 5, you can cast Wooden Warriors, you can cast Internal Alchemy to lower your age, you can do a few things like Iron Warriors as well. With Earth Power, you can do things like Maws of the Earth, which is great as well, and Shatter if you're dealing with any kind of inanimate units. Basically, a lot of these alteration spells are things you want to get and things you can cast really easily. Conjuration as well, just to get access to your national spells like the Celestial Hounds and eventually the Celestial Soldiers. And then beyond that, I guess the only things I'd like to get are things that generate gems. So any of these Thaumaturgy spells or enchantment spells that generate gems for you are really nice. You definitely want to be getting lots of gems. So any kind of global you can cast that creates gems for you is really what you need as iench'i. But let's go and the turn. We'll see how the next turn goes. I hope I don't lose these armies, but we'll see, you know. Alright, a few battles here. Let's take a look. Okay, attacking this random province. That's fine. How did this battle go? This is against a random province too, not much happening. Alright, let's take a look at this one against the barbarians. It looks like the Ancestor Smith thugs actually did something here. Let's see how it goes. So big group of barbarians here, horsemen run in the back and kill the leader. Okay, they're gonna rout pretty quick. There's some bugs. Oh, I think the Ancestor Smiths didn't actually do anything, just some bugs ran in and killed. Oh, there he goes. There's this guy, the Mistform guy. I gave him the Mangaush of parrying and a short spear, Stinger. This makes him actually pretty survivable, especially with what he can cast. I believe he's casting Mistform. Does he have Mistform on? Yeah, he has Mistform, and he has Flight, and he has Reinvigoration from Earth Power, as well as Mirror Image. So this makes him quite great as a thug. Basically, all your Ancestor Smith possibilities, all the ones you can get, have some use for thugging. So they're quite nice, to be honest. I really like this unit. So that was good, and let's take a look at this battle. This was the Ancestor Smith. Really not much going on, but we'll take a look at it anyways. It looks like at least he was able to fight. We'll see how that goes. So he's buffing himself up. This has the same script as the other mage in the last battle. Crossbows. These are some indie crossbows, but I think crossbows are very useful for iench'i to get. So if you see any provinces that have crossbows, especially ones with iron cap and the plate mail or the plate cross, try to pick these up. because they'll definitely help you out a lot just for some support in your armies. Where'd he go? Just teleported behind them. Okay, are you going to attack? Where'd he go? Oh, he's back here. Okay. So he's going to pick off these archers while they're running away, I guess. Here you go again. Oh, did he go in the back there? Okay, so he's just kind of like teleporting behind everyone and instantly killing them. So, still not too bad. This is a really great little thug setup. And the horn helmet is easy for you to make. Plus, it just gives you a little bit extra damage, which is nice. 2 attacks. Just more attacks, the better, basically, you know? Alright, so not too bad. And what was this here? Special event. Ninja attacked my scout. It's funny. Gems. And assassination attempt. Okay. Alright, so this group did quite well. I'm going to send these guys north to deal with this army. I'm also going to send this guy north with a bunch of horses. And he's going to join the thug gang that I've set up here. Now, where are these guys? These 3. So let's gear these guys up. One of them's going to get a horror helm. This guy's going to get a horned helm and a sword. And this guy's going to get a black steel helmet and a sword. Alright, so there's the kind of thug gang. They all have the same little setup. Let's actually put these guys over here together. There's 3 of them together, and they're all going to run in and cause some trouble. Alright, so those 3 are going to join in as well with this commander. And let's set this guy to research again. So we'll see how that goes. I wonder if this group will actually invade. I'm going to get a lot of these thugs moving in. I think I may actually send these guys somewhere else to deal with. Maybe I should send them south instead. I think I will do that. This little thug group, I'm going to have them pop some provinces. It looks like I didn't get those mercenaries. That really sucks. Can I get any mercenaries, please? I hate playing against AI because the AI will always get tons and tons of gold, and they will buy every single mercenary every single turn, so you never ever get them. At least playing online, most people don't dump all their money into mercenaries, so that's kind of nice, but, you know, that's how it is. Alright, I guess I'm going to... Ooh, 100 units, that really sucks. I don't know if I could take that. Some Hydra. Let's just put a ton of province defense. Basically playing against AIs is really nothing like playing online. Just dump a lot of province defense and usually you won't get attacked. So PD is really useful in single player, in multiplayer not so much. But you still want some at least. Just usually I put the bare minimum. Alright, what else is going on here? Let's see. What are you doing? Let's get him to research or something. Put some PD here as well. Alright, so something's being made. Let's see if I can actually make some mages. I should be making mages in more of these provinces. So this province can make something. What can he make? Let's make an ancestor guy. Is this one making anything? Yeah, he's making one too. Alright, and I can even send some of these guys in. Does this guy have any gear? Let's give him a helmet. I'll send this guy in too. Like, why not? Alright, actually, maybe I'll send this guy. Because I already have the little script for him. I'll send him in with a few of these, and let's actually give him a helmet. Alright, so this guy can go in the back with his crossbow guys. And let's hold and fire close to the enemy. Alright, so let's send this guy in. Why not? He can go accompany this guy too. Alright, so let's end the turn here and see how it goes. Hopefully I can get some mercenaries to help me out, but we'll see. Actually, I may just hold this turn. I'm going to hold this turn. And I really want some kind of mercenaries. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's see how that goes. Alright, a few battles here. Battle here against... this. Oh, we defeated the attacking force. Oh, this is a nice battle. Let's take a look at this. So they attacked me. I barely lost anything, and my horsemen tore up their army. So let's take a look at that. This was the army I was moving north, and this was the big army of random junk they were moving south. So here it goes. Big line of horse. This is the recreation of the Hunnic invasions of Rome, I guess. Let's see when the mages come in. Do they actually get some kills here? Do they do anything? Okay, no. These horsemen are just so good. My little kind of thug guys have no time to do anything. Oh well, that's too bad. But still, let's look at this battle. Attacking random province. And what was this battle? Was this me attacking again? Alright, so this is quite good. Let's take a look at this battle. Whoa. Why does that happen? Alright, let's see how this goes. These guys buffing themselves a little bit, and then they're going to run in. So he's going to run in, and he should fly in the back. Did he? Yeah, there he goes. He should be able to kill all of these guys, to be honest. They can't even break his mirror image. So he's going to snipe the commander. This guy's taking care of anyone in the front. So overall, good teamwork. Some events, earth gems, and defense. Okay. Battle here against... Oh, oops. Big failure there. Alright, let's move these guys north. And then I didn't get my thing again. Jeez. I think I'm just not going to bother with the mercenaries. I'm never going to get any mercenaries, it seems. I'm just going to move these two armies together and attack his capital. And then I think that'll be about the end of the video here. But we'll see how that goes. How many generals do I have? Jeez. Let's get more barbarian horsemen. Let's get as many as possible. And what I should be doing is recruiting from all these provinces too. Let's get something from every province. Jeez, I can't afford anything there. Am I getting horsemen here too? Let's get horsemen here as well. Can't afford that many. One trick you can do, for example, sometimes your horsemen, because they have a bow, they have a root habit of switching from attacking, which you really want them to do, to just shooting their bows, which is kind of shitty. So one thing you can do, if you have access to some generic indie cavalry, just make one of these guys and mix them in a unit of your horsemen, your barbarian horsemen, and they will never use their bow. They will always just attack instead. So that's kind of a nice little trick. If you have access to indie cavalry, just make one of these guys, stick them in the same unit as the rest of your barbarian cavalry, and just watch them go to work. Alright, let's do, I guess, one more turn here. One or two more turns. Try to push in here. What are these guys doing? Let's send these guys south as well. And I want to be making something here. What is he making? Let's make more these guys. And research something. We get some education as well. I'm not taking the research too seriously. I think I'm just going to end this as soon as I can deal with Pythium here. Okay, let's go next turn and let's try again to get some mercenaries. Please give me some mercenaries. Oh my god, none of them are there. So let's try, let's end the turn, see how this goes. Alright, a few battles here. Battle here. We defeated this force, but I lost a lot of these units. Ooh, the Hydras really killed them. I bet the poison killed a lot of these guys. Oh no, I killed a lot of these guys, jeez. But so many died, it definitely must have been from the poison of the Hydras. Let's take a look at this battle anyways. Yeah, jeez, that poison cloud is such a pain. I bet that killed a lot of these guys. Oof, yeah, look at that. All of them dying from poison, all of them poisoned. So they ripped them apart, but look at them go. Dropping, dropping, dropping. Jeez. Next battle was here. So that one, this one, attacked again. So they attacked me and they were beaten just by province defense. That's nice. And these were the two battles I took. So this is my two guys here against the Hydras. Let's see how that went. I hope they didn't get poisoned and die. Let's get the buff script here. He's going to run in the front. He's going to fly in the back. Is he? Oh, they're already running. Wow. So, did he get poisoned? I hope not. Looks like he didn't. But, you know, that's very lucky. Okay, nice. And then what was this battle? This was a different one here again with these guys. So let's take a look at this battle. Pretty small one. Okay, they just totally ran over these guys. No chance. These barbarian horsemen are so good, to be honest. Alright, attacking force independence. Okay, that's good. Just PD dealt with it. That's nice. Alright, let's move these guys up. Move these guys north. Move these guys in somewhere. And these guys will attack in a minute. Once all of these guys are in position, we're going to have them all attack. And I still can't get any kind of mercenaries. That sucks. Alright, what am I having here? Let's get some of these horsemen out as well. I need to send some of these guys to some other provinces. I'm going to send this guy out to this province to pick up some more horses. This one should be making a few horses at least. And he'll pick up some mages as well. So one of these guys can join him. Let's get some of these guys to actually make some gear for themselves. This guy can make a helmet, and this guy can make something. Just have him make some kind of sword, maybe like a Bane blade or something, I don't really know. So that could be good. And this guy can make something too. What can he make? Let's make some kind of buff item. Maybe something, maybe just like a barkskin amulet, I guess. Handful of acorns. What else do I have that's useful? I could give him chi shoes. This is kind of nice for late age iench'i because all your mages are actually quite strong. In the early ages, you don't have that many high strength units, but this could be a nice little option as well. So maybe I'll go with that just for something very funny. Make him a perfect kind of kung fu master. Alright, so let's end this and then we'll attack the capital next turn. Let's just pump up PD here. Having nice high PD is always great in single player games. That's how you can deal with aggressive expansion from the AI. Just pump up your PD all along the borders. I guess that's what Illwinter thinks we should be doing when we're playing this kind of game. I don't know why, because no one does that online, but that's their imagination of how this game should be played. Pumping up big tons of PD along the border like it would be a real strategy game. Or I should say real strategy game, but in other strategy games. Let's send this guy here to take this province, like why not? Still has quite a few troops left. Actually, I'm going to let them stay here. Maybe they can site search or something. Let's let him become a prophet. Let's get him to become a prophet. Why not? Alright, so let's end the turn here. Maybe you guys site search. Like, do something. Alright, end of the turn here. See how it goes. Alright, battle here. Ooh, nice. Wow, just a lot of random units. You have one of every single thing. Let's see how that went. They're just gonna rush over everything, I bet. Yeah, look at that. Just a bunch of trash. This is what AI kind of army. Just every little bit of trash and only a couple random things. What went on here? Not much. Just some PD. Okay, and so I found a magic site. It's nice. Alright, finally, let's actually attack his capital. So I'm gonna send all of these guys in. Let's see how this goes. And then I'll probably end the video here. Too. Why not? Alright, let's pick up these two. You guys can go in. Let's get this guy some gear. Can he get a shield as well? No, of course not. And let's give him a buff script as well. Just attack rear. Right, not too bad. Let's send these two in. And send them wherever, I don't know. Send them here. Why not? Let's attack here. Let's attack Pathium. Alright, let's see how this battle for the capital goes. So let's get everyone recruiting. In here, that's good. Everyone's recruiting. So let's just see how the battle for the capital goes. Either I'll win, do quite well, or I lose. What can this guy do? Can I get him to do anything for me? Cast Baleful Star? Nah, I don't have much research at the moment. Alright, let's go. See how this ends up. Okay, come on. Battle in Royal Green. Battle in this place. Battle in Pythium. Let's take a look at this battle. Ooh, we did it. So we took the capital. He just has a bunch of junk. Province defense only. And looks like the horsemen basically dealt with all of it. Yeah, they probably just ran over the PD and destroyed all of them. Horsemen will really tear up any province defense or any kind of just basic armies without buffs. They will just tear them apart. And with buffs, these guys are really great as well. So these are just such a good unit, and the fact that you can get huge amounts of them really makes them great units. It looks like I battled Vattenheim, or beaten by the defending forces. At least I didn't lose too much, just lost a bunch of barbarian horsemen. Battle here as well. Oh, this was quite a little bit bigger army. Let's take a look at this battle. Right, this guy's gonna go in. I think they're all gonna run before my mage can get in there. These guys have pretty weak, pretty low combat move speed. Combat speed 9, so they're pretty slow in getting in there. Just slow old man. And this guy is actually old, so he's a little bit weaker in terms of his skills. But still, you know, they're still quite good as budget thugs. Just to clarify again, some of them will spawn as old. The max age for these guys is 50, so sometimes they're a little bit older. However, a few of them will actually be a little bit younger. Let's take a look for some of them here. Like this guy, he doesn't have any nature paths, but he started at age 48. So actually he's a little bit under the max age. So that's quite nice, because then he can be much more useful as a thug. You can see his stats already way better than that other guy we just looked at. Quite high attack skill, quite high defense, precision. All of these are just way better when he's not old. So that's something to consider as well. Not too much going on for this game. Basically mopping up everything here. But you can see a lot of the advantages of this nation, and definitely going for a thug-heavy strategy is definitely viable for this nation. These Ancestor Smiths are really great budget thugs. Now, all of these Ancestor Mages are quite expensive. They're all about 200 gold each. But if you have a good economy going, you can be pumping these guys out every single province and just have tons and tons of these little budget thugs going around. Again, a group of like 2 or 3 of these guys all buffing each other and running in can deal with a lot, to be honest. So that's definitely something to consider. But again, you can also consider some other strategies I mentioned before. Maybe focusing on your summonable sacreds if you want to go for something like that, or focusing on a pure scales build and just having tons and tons of units going out, then buffing them later. That could be something to try as well. Or even going for a super combatant strategy, which is getting a god like the sun, Kami of the Sun, or something like that, and trying to make a super combatant work. That could be something interesting as well. So you have a lot of options as late age Tianchi, and definitely this is a really fun nation, and my favorite version of Tianchi as well. Definitely the most fun for sure. But let's move on here. I'm going to end the video for now, and I'll see you guys again next time. Remember to like and subscribe to the video. That's how I know what kind of content you guys like. And also respond or leave any comments about other kind of things you'd like to see. Maybe other Dominions content or content from other games too. Either way, I'll see you guys again next time, and goodbye guys.